Hello, everyone. Welcome to Move More, Worry Less, episode 32. Wow. I'm your host, Paige Festa, the founder of 13 Fit. Thank you guys so much for your ongoing support. It's been really exciting to grow this podcast, and I feel like there's been a lot of learning and growing on my end, and I hope for you too. That being said, I really hope that you subscribe and you download. And if you're on YouTube, you throw in some comments. If you listen to the comedian Chris D'Elia, I'm going to steal this from him, but make friends in the comments, activate that algorithm. I'm obsessed with him, by the way. That's like my one thing I do outside of listening to productive podcasts is I listen to Chris D'Elia. Anyway, let me introduce today's guest because that's why we're here, right? Her name is Wendy Shafranski. She is the co-owner of Vero Strength and Conditioning in Vero Beach. She is the co-founder of Cerus Performance, and she's on the founding board of Sunday Strong. If you don't know what those things are, keep listening and you'll find out. Enjoy the episode. Wendy, I am so happy to have you here today. And I feel like we have a lot of really interesting topics to cover. Okay, so great. Let's start the call out with you giving an introduction on who you are, what you do, and we'll kind of roll from there.
Okay. I'm Wendy Shafranski. I spent the first 18 years of my career in marketing, creative services, and then 13 years ago, opened a gym. Never thought I wanted to be a business owner, but it's been fabulous. Definitely highly recommend being an entrepreneur. And as of the last about a year and a half, helped to launch a supplement company. So I'm part owner of a supplement company called Cerus Performance, and just have my hand in a lot of different pots per usual. I don't think I've ever had just one project in my life. So kind of par for the course for me.
I get it. Some of us just thrive on chaos, right?
Yes.
So I would love to hear a little bit more about your fitness journey, because obviously there's got to be a story behind that led you to just opening a gym. And it's interesting to me because you come from a creative background also, like I do, it's just kind of an interesting parallel. So I would love to hear more about your fitness journey and what led you to opening up your gym.
Sure. I mean, I've always played sports as a kid, but grew up overweight. And then after my first year of college, I'm like, you know what, I want to learn more about nutrition and just eating right. And at the time, the low fat craze was the big thing. So I ate a lot of pasta and chicken, but lost weight, felt great about myself. Didn't work out as much in my early 20s, but kind of got back into it mid to late 20s, ran a marathon, started doing obstacle course competitions, and then found CrossFit. And my husband, he's always owned businesses and wanted to own a gym. He's trained people for decades. And that's how it all started. I still had another job when we opened the gym, and kept that for about 5 years until I decided, okay, I need to go all in and not just rely on this other paycheck. So I've gotten training certifications, love training people, but my role is more in the back end systems business end of it. Whereas my husband is, programmer, coach, that sort of thing. So it's nice to have a partner where you have different strengths so that you kind of avoid some of that clashing of opinion at times.
Yeah. What's funny is, and I don't know if I've told you this before, but I went to your gym a couple years ago, me
Really?
and my sister. Yeah. Cause my grandparents live in Vero Beach.
Oh, no way.
And yeah. So, one time me and my sister were visiting, we were like, let's drop into a CrossFit gym. And we came to Vero Strength and Conditioning, and I bought a shirt from you. And I wish I could remember if I met you then.
Yeah. And usually I remember all the drop-ins. So I don't think
okay.
I wasn't there.
Yeah. I don't know. It was, I think we came in on a Saturday because it was a partner workout and there was rope climbs. And this was this had to be probably, I was still living in New York, at least 5 years ago.
Okay.
4 or 5 years ago.
6 years ago, we rebranded. We were originally started as CrossFit Vero Beach. And then over the years, just kind of evolved our programming and methodology, and the CrossFit name didn't fit. We didn't want to lead with that necessarily.
Mhm.
So yeah, you must have been in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
If it was Vero Strength and Conditioning.
Yeah. And it's funny. And then we met officially, or for the first time, I guess. Well, I guess that was last year at an event on the beach where it was really cold and you needed layers.
Yeah. You know what? I was just thinking about this morning, like how something so seemingly insignificant, like the weather that day, I may have never met you. I was like, oh my God, I need more layers. I bought joggers, I bought a sweatshirt, and I brought a pom-pom hat,
Yeah.
and I may have never met you if it wasn't so cold. So
I know it's funny how those things work. And yeah, so I in our previous conversation leading up to the podcast, we were going through, you were talking about different things that you do within your gym community, about mindset and newsletters that you send out. So I'd really like to talk about those things because, and I'm being super, super vague because it's your story to tell. So I want you to be able to talk about it in the way that you want to. But I really love that although you are a gym, you are focused on more than just physical fitness. So I'm going to hand you the floor and kind of dive into the details of that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think, first and foremost, we like to educate. And when someone's not meeting their fitness goal or their nutrition goal, there's usually, it's all about behaviors. And if you can't change a behavior, a lot of times there's, an underlying reason that I'm not necessarily equipped to handle, but I know to refer out, like, to therapy or something like that. So it's, for me, it's not just about a workout. It's about like this holistic approach to life, whether it be nutrition, digestion, whatever. I get a lot of my topics for my weekly emails to our members just by being on the floor and talking to people. And then, writing is my absolute favorite part of my job. So I get to write quite a bit for the gym. And then for Cerus Performance, I write a weekly mindset email. And I just wrote number 54. So someone, signs up for our emails, they go into the funnel and they start at number 1. So they get, all of them. But, I get responses to them all the time. And at first it started as, all right, this is mindset kind of for athletics. And I've, competed at CrossFit regionals several times. And there's some things that really worked for me in terms of making myself calm and centered. And, I'd maybe present some of those topics, but now it's just really, there's so much intersection with business performance, athletic performance, and just, life in general, that it's really morphed into kind of just this general mindset, things to think about type. And it's nothing I created in terms of the topics. It's just well-researched. Maybe it's something that I employ in my own life. But yeah, it's very, very satisfying to write these emails.
Yeah. I love that two things, that you listen to your community and that's how you decide what to write about. Because I think it would be really easy to just throw out information and hope something sticks, but it's great that you're really listening to the people that you're involved with. And the second thing, now I can't remember what I was going to say.
You need the mindset.
Yeah. Right. I always get ahead of myself and think of like 5 things at a time that I want to say. So then when I start to say them, I completely forget. And that you implement things that are personal to you, like things that you've experienced, or like you're saying, you research things or things that you implement in your own life. Yeah. And then you bring that to other people, which I think is just great because that's such an authentic way to.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like to be transparent. I mean, I just actually wrote one a couple of weeks ago for Cerus Performance about training through grief. I had my only brother passed away in a car accident about 5 years ago. And then I didn't grieve. I worked, kind of just got my mind off of it with other things. And then about 6 weeks ago, my mom passed away. So I learned so much from that first experience that this one, I didn't overtrain or overcommit to work or I literally sat with my thoughts and felt pain and acknowledged it and moved on. So I decided to share that with our readers, and I actually got a lot of responses back thanking me for that. And it was just like, hey, this worked for me. Give yourself grace. Here's some things to consider. And yeah, I like to pull from, when possible, personal experience.
Yeah, I totally love that. And first of all, I'm so sorry for both of your losses.
Oh, thank you.
And I really like that philosophy and that way of being, with transparency and being able to bring your personal experience into business, because I think especially now, people are looking to connect with the businesses that they're supporting, and knowing that they're coming from a real place and it's not just a money grab. So I really respect that and admire that about you and your businesses. So, kudos to you on that.
Thanks.
I would love to dive into a little bit more about your supplement company.
Yes.
And how that, again, I have like 6 questions I want to ask at one time, and I'm going to try to like reel it back a little bit. So let's start with how this came about.
Okay.
From, the idea to launching the brand a year and a half ago or so.
Okay, great. Yeah, my business partner is Jeff Evans. He's a former CrossFit Games athlete and, has name recognition. My husband was coaching him a little bit when he made his comeback after the games and podiumed at the Granite Games. So we've gotten to know him really well. He's like a brother to me. And during the pandemic, he was just kind of sick of that disconnect between health and performance, where people in our space care about what they put in their body, yet they're taking all these pre-workouts that are full of stimulants and chemicals and things like that. So he started researching ingredients and came up with what our first product was, is called Flow. And it's to help breathing and, lung capacity and that sort of thing when you are working out. He tested it with people in our gym, and we loved it. We were so impressed, through several iterations until you got it right. Everybody loved it, believed in it, and then we just said, hey, Jeff, let's partner up and do this. And that was late 2020, so October 2020 we officially launched. And it's just been great. I mean, Jeff owns 51% of the company. My husband and I own 49%. So we are a certified Black-owned business, which is cool, and have had so much support from that community. And Flow put us on the map, and then we started listening to our customers and what their pain points were, and came up with a sleep supplement, because a lot of people, especially if they're hard charging athletes that overdo it, their central nervous system's kind of jacked, they need to sleep. So we came up with that. Focus, it could be for, obviously we're marketing to athletes, but anyone can benefit from this. And even we've seen a lot of golfers really enjoy the Focus product. And we just came out with creatine that has electrolytes in it. And so sodium, potassium, magnesium. And there's research that supports that salt allows the creatine to be absorbed into your bloodstream faster. And creatine's kind of having a renaissance right now. There's just so much research about even the cognitive benefits and how people that are over 40 can benefit, females can benefit. So I feel like the timing was right there for us to launch that product. And that's really been getting a lot of attention. So that's kind of where we are. And, we want to have an all natural line, very transparent. And we really like to find ingredients that you can't find anywhere else. Maybe they've been used in Ayurvedic or Chinese medicine for centuries, and now there's starting to be research for how effective they are. So that's kind of our USP, that we have, these ingredients you don't necessarily find in other supplements, but they're super potent, super effective, safe, and all natural.
Absolutely. So I have your Focus right here. I took some this morning. Now the serving size says 2 capsules in the morning, but then there was like, if you haven't taken this before, take 1 and see how it goes.
Yeah.
So I took 1 yesterday and I took 1 today.
Okay.
Yesterday, I started a new job, a side job. I'm working for a nonprofit, and I did not stop moving
Okay.
like in a focused way. Like I had to reorganize the entire space and I was zoned in for like hours. My Whoop thought was doing like an activity, like a workout for 2 hours in the middle of the day. I was like
Yeah. Yeah.
super focused.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of my clients at the gym, he owns a really large salon, and he's does education. And he said he decided to take it before a call, and he was like, I just freaking nailed that call. So now
Yeah.
he's selling it at a salon. We never looked at that as like a potential partnership,
Wow.
but he wants to really have kind of a wellness option for his clients. So
Yeah.
now, yeah, he's yeah, we hear people love it. We've even had people, which is awesome, in some of our products focus. We've heard, I have ADD and now I don't take Adderall. In flow, we've heard I don't have to use my inhaler anymore. So obviously those, we don't have research studies to back that up, but just getting emails and comments like that just really fire us up.
Yeah, that's really incredible. I was actually thinking about that. My boyfriend has ADHD and I want him to try this. I'm curious to see
Yeah.
how that would work. So, that's really cool. And I really do love that, like you were saying before, like there's a lot of crap in the supplement industry and it makes it really difficult, especially on the consumer side. Like you don't know what you're getting and you don't really understand the product. It's just kind of like it says it does something, but it's very
Right.
hard to like trust. So I really like that you're going into this from a very holistic and wellness aspect,
Mhm.
to make it healthy. Because I mean, again, I can't tell you how many supplements I started taking when I first got into fitness.
Mhm.
I had like, it was like my bro fitness starter pack. Like I would have alarms that went off through the day to like take this pill or that pill or my
Yes.
MCT oil or whatever, but I had no idea what I was taking.
Right.
I was just, I read it somewhere that you should take this or that, and I would. And I think that that industry can be really challenging because for people who really aren't, for like me, when I was brand new to it, I would just take whatever and not really know. So I'm going off on a complete rant, but I just really appreciate that your
Yeah.
ingredients
Yeah.
are safe. And even if you are a newbie
Right.
to supplements, you can trust it.
Yeah. I mean, we've gotten so many people want to steer clear of big amounts of caffeine.
Mhm.
So, in the focus product, there's a tiny bit of caffeine for a little bit of, the focus, but our pre-workout flow has zero, and people really, really get into that,
Yeah.
because it's not this false sense of energy. It's
Mhm.
actually, a heart healthy supplement you take every day.
Right. I would love to dive into maybe a little more detail on your ingredients. And I know that you have multiple products with multiple ingredients in each. So I'm
Yeah.
not asking you to go through every single one, but maybe we can highlight a couple of ingredients that are really stand out to you,
Yeah.
perhaps,
Yeah.
maybe like two or three ingredients and why they're beneficial and all that.
Okay, yeah. So in flow, you've got beetroot, which has been studied, but our kind of secret ingredient in that is called Arjuna, and it's a tree bark. And there's, so many studies about it being good for your heart, and just there's a synergistic effect when it's paired with ashwagandha for athletes, and so we have ashwagandha in that as well. So Arjuna is kind of like our standout in that. In our focus, there's an herb called Bacopa, and we'll add. And then that's, there's been research that that's a prophylactic for Alzheimer's and dementia, that it really improves, cognitive ability. So that's kind of our standout in there. And then just, we've used a lot of mushrooms, reishi, chaga, turkey tail, for different benefits there. So mushrooms are great. And, we try to use them whenever applicable.
Yeah. I was actually, complete side note, but I was just listening to a podcast about mushrooms and how a very small percentage of mushrooms are actually poisonous. Like if you were to eat like 100 mushrooms, like maybe one could be bad for you. Like I said, completely off topic, but I just like listened to a whole podcast on mushrooms. It was really interesting. And there's just a lot of good things in mushrooms.
Yes.
Anyways, so, and I think this can apply to your gym business, but also with your supplements. You send out these newsletters, right? I'm kind of backtracking, but you send out these newsletters on different topics. And I'm just curious as to, I know a lot of it is based on your personal experience, but I'm sure that you do, you know, self-discovery or research or whatever the case is. Where do you typically find your information and educate yourself?
I mean, the more technical stuff is, you know, Google Scholar and examine.com and all that sort of thing, you know, or just having, you know, just following experts in, you know, in different spaces. Yeah, you know, just a lot of research that way, reading books.
Yeah. Any good books you're currently reading?
Right now I'm reading a lot of business books about startups, you know. I mean, we've obviously, you know, you make mistakes when you launch a company. We haven't had too many big missteps that have cost a lot of money, but, you know, little ones here and there. So it's interesting that in building a startup, it's totally different. You know, all the business books, all the information you would have learned if you got an MBA, all applies to existing big companies, and the rules with them are different because they've already proven themselves. So startups is just a series of pivots and getting out of the building and talking to people and seeing if you actually are solving a problem. So yeah, that's right now. I'm kind of really knee deep in this one startup book that was recommended to me by a client of mine at the gym who was the executive vice president of Calvin Klein. So he's kind of seen it all. He's retired now, but he mentors a lot of businesses. So yeah,
that's awesome. So do you think, and I feel like I know the answer, but I would love for you to go into it a little bit more. Do you think with your brand, Cerus Performance, that you are solving a problem that is not currently being solved? And what do you think that is?
Yes, I definitely think the problem of not having options when it comes to effective performance products, we're definitely, we're filling that niche. It's kind of like, you have the supplement industry and it's an existing market, but we're creating our own niche in there. And then with each product, we are solving a problem, wanting a sleep supplement that doesn't have melatonin, needing to breathe better because there's our key audience is CrossFit right now. We want to saturate that market before moving on. And, it's the sport of capacity. So, there's that problem. So yeah, I think, each one solves a problem. We did launch a gut and an immune product. And we didn't go out and ask people, do you have a problem with this? And we know people have gut issues. We know their immune system needs to be, strong, but they didn't necessarily, our audience didn't necessarily see it as a problem. And so while they're great products and we have our fans of those, they weren't blockbuster because we didn't ask the questions first. And we just so that was a very valuable lesson.
Yeah.
Thinking you're solving a problem, but not getting verification first, that it's actually perceived as a problem.
Right. I'm very curious about your sleep supplement. I've taken melatonin in the past and I thought it was helping me, but it made me feel groggy every day. So I stopped taking anything for sleep, but I think that's great that you have something that doesn't have melatonin because it doesn't work for everybody.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No. Is there anything in under the umbrella of supplements and fitness that we haven't touched on that you would like to talk about? Because then I want to move on to our
no, I mean, I think we covered a bit. I mean, our mission is bridging the gap between performance and health. And, we also want to make an impact on children's charities eventually when we, you become larger, become more profitable. My partner, Jeff, is very open and honest about his childhood, where, with sexual abuse and attempted suicide and things like that. So he has such a heart for children's charities, and we all do. So that's something to definitely look forward to be making an impact in that in the future.
Right. That's incredible. I don't even know how to transition from that, because I feel like I should say something more poignant, but I don't know what I want to say. So
put the brakes on. We got this.
We're just going to make a weird transition here. So I want to talk about Sunday Strong.
Okay.
And you are on the founding board, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So let's tell our audience what that is.
Okay.
Yes.
Sunday Strong is a nonprofit, and we deliver weekly workouts for adults with intellectual disabilities. So it started at Vero Strength and Conditioning. I had a friend of mine who has a sister with an intellectual disability say, hey, I went to Special Olympics. This population is not in shape. Let's do something about it. So we started a class on Sundays at our gym. Before then, it wasn't a nonprofit. We just, did it. And it became so popular that my friend Laura Radachai, who's the founder of Sunday Strong, decided, let's go all in, let's form a nonprofit, and let's reach out to other fitness facilities in the area and see if they're willing to donate their time 1 hour a week. So right now we have 4 facilities in town. So our athletes have 4 opportunities to, go to a fitness class. It could be Zumba, could be yoga, CrossFit, that sort of thing. And the goal, we're getting some momentum. The goal before the pandemic was to take it nationally. And obviously that kind of put a halt on some things. And, that population seems to be a little more at risk, in terms of getting sick. But now, we still at my gym continued our class. Some of the other gyms dropped off for a little while, but now they're back. So, we're still interested in seeing how far we can take this one day.
That is so incredible. Can you define an intellectual disorder is what you said? Intellectual
disability.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So it could be Down syndrome. It could be autism. It could be some sort of brain trauma. I mean, these are, all the types of athletes we have. A lot of them take part in Special Olympics. They're pretty self-sufficient. Some of them drive and live on their own, and some of them, always have a caretaker. But yeah, it's just a really awesome group of people. We probably get, anywhere from 15 to 18 every Sunday. And it's just, lots of high fives and hugs and laughs. And it's just, even if I'm at the gym all week, and sometimes on Sunday I'm like, oh, got to go back to the gym. And then I'm always glad I did. It's just kind of the most uplifting hour that you can imagine.
Yeah. Do you have any fun success stories that you could share?
Yeah, we have a lot of weight loss. A lot of our volunteers who are members at my gym have just created these really special bonds with some of the athletes. So during the week, they take them walking, they educate them on, the right things to eat. So it's just that snowball effect, and they're just living better, healthier lives in general.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and just watching people who couldn't get off the ground on their own, which is such an important functional, skill to have. And then now they can just get up, no problem. So that, wow. That's really inspiring as well.
That's so amazing. Wow. So if anybody wanted to get involved with your nonprofit, how could say a person like me, who I don't have a facility, but how can other people get involved with the nonprofit?
Yeah, they would just go to sundaystrong.org and, check us out, and then, shoot us an email. And if you're interested in hosting a Sunday Strong class, we'd love to talk to you about that.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that so much. Is there anything that you want to talk about before I ask you a couple sentence finishers? Wow, she's struggling. Yeah. Is there anything that you want to touch on before we kind of?
I think, We've covered a lot. I think I'm just going back to our gym. I think what makes it different is you're never going to see a transformation photo. You're never going to see an emphasis on weight loss. It's, an emphasis on being healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else falls into place because I think healthy looks good. And, we just do things a little differently. I mean, it's not high intensity every day. It's not what's popular. We want people to eat and gain strength first. And then if they want to cut later, but it's a long process, you're not going to, 8 weeks, have the body of your dreams. It's a journey. And I think people look at the end goal so much that they don't celebrate the process or even enjoy the process. So that's really what we try to impress upon people. So.
Well, and I hope your method and philosophy is going to lead the way for the future of fitness, because I do think that there has been a time in like recent years, maybe not so much now, but I know like when I was working in fitness in New York, there was just such a toxic culture. And like you said, you're so focused on the weight loss and the end result that you're taking supplements that aren't good for you because you just I used to take fat burners. Yeah. Ew, like that's disgusting. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was just like working hard all the time, always high intensity. If you weren't on the floor feeling like you just died, then like you didn't have a quote unquote good workout.
Right. Oh yeah.
And I really love your philosophy behind what you're doing. And I do hope that continues to be the trend forward across the whole fitness community, because it really is a holistic thing. It's not just about,
Yeah. I mean, I think there's so much misinformation in the fitness space and, marketing. And there's a lot of these franchises that glorify being in a pool of sweat on the ground. And we focus on resistance training first and foremost, and just, getting strong and moving well. I mean, before you even, go to a class at our gym, you are getting a movement screen and seeing, where your imbalances and weaknesses lie, and everybody has them. So you can help to overcome them. I mean, we do mobility every single day before the workout. If you're able to move well, you're able to get stronger, you're able to be more resilient. And so that should be the first thing, not doing hundreds of reps incorrectly and sweating. That's, there's really not a point to that, but unfortunately that's very glorified.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, keep doing what you're doing. And thanks. I hope that other people catch on, because
hopefully
people like you are needed in the fitness industry.
I think so.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a couple of sentence finishers. I said it right this time. So I'll start the sentence and then you finish it. The first thing I do when I wake up is
start my Nespresso machine.
Amen to that. I prep my coffee the night before so I could just come downstairs and hit the on button. Yep. I love that. Okay. My favorite movement or exercise is?
I would have to say a squat, back squat. Yeah.
We have a lot in common, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, a piece of advice I would give my younger self would be?
Gosh. I mean, you're human. I think people go into the gym and they look at their coaches and don't think they have the same struggles as them. And I am you, you are me, basically. So I think that would be a good bit of advice for my former self.
I love that. I love that so much. Okay. So there's a lot of things that you do that are incredible. So let's lay it out for the audience on how they can find you, follow you, get your product, get involved with your community, the whole thing.
I'll give you all the Instagram handles because that's how everybody lives these days. So Cerus Performance, it's spelled CERUS Performance. Instagram and Facebook, it's at Cerus Performance. CerusPerformance.com is our website. Vero Strength and Conditioning, you can find us at Vero Strength on Instagram. And then Sunday Strong would be at B Sunday Strong, BE Sunday Strong.
Amazing. And I will link everything in the show notes. So That way everyone can find you nice and easily. And if there's any other information you want, we could throw it in the show notes and everyone can find it there.
Good.
Cool. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for being here today. This was an amazing conversation and I can't wait to go live with it.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Move More, Worry Less. If you love this episode, please subscribe, share, rate, or review us to help us grow our mission. If you don't already, follow us on social at 13fit Apparel and visit our website at www.13fitapparel.com. Thanks for listening.